It was the kick heard round the world, even though nothing was actually kicked.
Whoops.
Last week, players were wiggling and jiggling and teaching us very important lessons.
There's a fine line between being hype and energized and just being dumb.
Plus,
you start dodging and duking within the pocket.
Did he say duking?
Dodging and duking within the pocket.
I think the game has changed since your time, Troy. There should not be any duking.
Hadouken!
Welcome to Shutout Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. And if you hate yourself, you probably spent your Thanksgiving with Tom Brady and Tony Romo. It was a week of botched kicks, botched overtime, and 3 of the best receptions I've seen all year. It was week 13 in the NFL. Let's get it. It was a short week for the Packers and Lions, like every week for Kyler Murray. This game featured a coin with terrifying genetics. Who breeds a crab with a peach? Jordan Love was breathing fire. He threw 4 touchdowns in this. 2 to randomly used receiver Dontavian Wicks, who the team has been perpetuating a long con on regarding a Brigadoon-style cheesecake factory. He wants to believe so bad. Tom Brady gives passes numbers.
Gives them the absolute 1 ball. But we call that a 3 ball.
I do the same with my kids, pets, and wife. They do not like me. Jared Goff was sacked 3 times. Micah Parsons was credited with 2.5 sacks. I have a cousin with a half a sack. Nailing gun incident.
That's called a 1 ball.
Jamison Williams spun out of a tackle and ran like he was looking for the closest toilet. It's hard to run proper routes when you're touching cotton. Would it kill you to put a porta potty under the uprights? It would improve accessibility for the league's first blind kickers. Aim for the stench. 2 of the Packers' touchdowns came on 4th down, as did their final play to clinch it. They out Dan Campbell. And if you could out macho the chest hair honcho, you deserve to line your pockets with pumpkin pie. This game continued the celebration of John Madden, who at this point, I'm convinced invented the turkey. They said it's hard to win in AT&T Stadium, and I agree. I've seen the Cowboys' record. Patrick Mahomes threw 4 holiday treats to cranberry Haas, highway turkey, and mashed potato brains. The Chiefs racked up 10 penalties. I've seen fewer flags at a pride parade. Come on, Chiefs. You are embarrassing Native Americans on their holiest of holidays. I hate both these teams for different reasons, but I am a sucker for a good star wipe. Oh yeah, that's nice. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz were served their own private dead animal in a soundproof room. I didn't see any forks, did you? Jake Ferguson scored a touchdown and jumped into the sparkle pot for the poors, but it was overturned after he failed to get his 2nd foot down. Fake Ferguson. I'm surprised there was enough room for him in that pot, next to Ezekiel Elliott's corpse. They said this was like a playoff game, but I disagree, because the Cowboys won. Joe Burrow was back, and he was dreamy as shit. Tousled hair and custom orthotics, like fresh meat at the senior center. All part of his plan to win his 3rd comeback player of the year. His mere presence hyped up the defense like high-quality booger sugar. They forced 5 turnovers from the Ravens. Isaiah Likely squirtled at the goal line, and Lamar Jackson popped like a zit. Burrow was dealing to side characters, Andre Yosivash, and man with 2 annoying children's first names, Tanner Hudson. Not that they needed it, because kicker Evan McPherson outscored the Ravens single-handedly. 6 field goals. He got cocky on his 6th and used his face. Jamar Chase looked like he just went down on a diamond mine. Derrick Henry passed Jim Brown on the all-time rushing list, which seems unfair. The man died 2 years ago. It was Black Friday and the Eagles were half off. The Eagles offense played like hot compost. They were a human centipede of nothing but butts. And the people of Philadelphia were ugly and angry. What is everyone writing? You crossing off plays that don't work? Let me get you a box of Sharpies. Fans were cheering offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo's name, and also the word fire. The Eagles finally scored a touchdown with A.J. Brown.
Starting to get some movement up front.
Me too, buddy. Me too. But any momentum they had dove crotch first into a wood chipper soon after. The Bears decoded the tush push. Send one man to steal the ball. Honestly, I'm surprised it took teams this long. Ben Johnson is fucking intense. He has a special chant. Good, better, bad! Good, better, bad! Never let it rest! Never let it rest! Good gets better! Good gets better! And it better gets better! I couldn't tell you what it says. It sounds like my dog every time the mailman visits. The Bears were runnier than a healthy colonic, nearly 300 yards rushing. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai turned the Eagles' defense inside out, wore them like tighty whities, and danced on the train tracks with them. It was a whiz with sadness. Even Santa had enough of this John. He'd rather get drunk and lose a fist fight to Rudolph again than watch the Eagles get finger blasted by Caleb Williams. It was Kirk Cousins versus Tyrod Taylor. Loser gets arrested. Just as soon as Cousins escaped from this giant aquarium, it was a prison of glass and emotion. They filled it with water and fish and screamed "Rise up" at him until he cried and the fish drank his tears. All part of the pre-game process to force Kirk Cousins out of his contract. The Falcons were stacking mistakes. Jamal Agnew botched a fair catch on a punt. Adonai Mitchell scored after Mike Hughes fell down in coverage. Aaron Glenn has the best reactions in football. He's got the poker face of an emoji picker. Kirk Cousins took a big hit and demanded gravy in his mouth. Linebacker Marcelino McCrary-Ball tried to surf the turf with his face.
I don't know what that is.
This is what Superman looks like without the green screen. Bucky Irving was back, and he brought cool guy handshakes with him. Honestly, it just looks like two guys slapping at each other. The Bucs got tricky at the goal line with a touchdown to lineman Tristan Wirfs. They even lifted him like baby Simba and the Lion King. Baker Mayfield is always chatting up his favorite official, aka Ref Honeybuns. Jacoby Brissett was sacked by Vita Vea, who celebrated by throwing rope. Brissett finished with good stats, but the Cardinals lost again. They moved the chains, but they never moved the chains of my heart. This should have been an easy finish for the Bucs, but Baker Mayfield refused to take a knee, screaming something about imperialism and do-rags. He wasted 35 minutes before he finally fell asleep on the pirate ship. Shador Sanders looked completely mid, aggravating both fans and haters alike. He's got a polarizing personality, but just let the man be. Blake Bortles. Brock Purdy had a battery-powered heater for his arm, which is much smarter than what I'd been doing, setting fire to my arm. The only problem is it goes ngang, 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 when you'd really prefer it to go It must have worked, because he was throwing tutties and earning that arm heater money. Myles Garrett got his 19th sack. One more, and he gets a free sandwich. 4 more, and he gets the NFL record. This game was like watching two men fistfight in a sleeping bag. This game was a battle. C.J. Stroud versus country line dancing. Alec Pierce, which sounds like rival douchebags competing for the love of a maiden, pulled one down in double coverage. Ian Eagle was oblivious to the fact that he looked like the regional manager of a satanic credit union. He also raised a very good question.
How do they have dirt on their uniforms?
That is a great question. I have no idea where that's coming from. Is there dirt?
Nico Collins scored, and the Texans missed the extra point after. Or did they? Who's calling that? Those refs aren't even looking up. Why don't we get taller goalposts? Or lasers? Put some lasers on top so if it touches, it goes bing bong, like when you enter a CVS. We could put a man on the moon, but we can't go bing bong? We have computer chips in the ball and virtual measurements. Don't tell me that's where the budget ends.
Michael, this is the Lord. Wear socks.
Grandpa Rookie was ready for battle. Tyler Shuck was showing progress. If he keeps this up, in a couple of years, he'll be 30. Devon Bailey led the Saints in receiving. Don't get that return on your off-season investment too early, Saints. It's only week 13. The Saints debuted their new kicker, Irishman Charlie Smith, who I guess just walks around with that flag everywhere. This game had everything. Shoes, a tum-tum. At halftime, they made meat helmets. The The Dolphins win again, and Mike McDaniel must have gone through an entire pack of cigarettes by now, waiting on this firing squad to pull the trigger. Trevor Lawrence had a relaxing day in the pocket. It was nothing but leave-in conditioner and Florida sun. I mean, it was Tennessee, but it's the same sun.
He's like a little baby kangaroo in his mother's pouch, all protected in the pocket.
There were 23 penalties in this, and 2 fights. Julius Chestnut tried to toss the Jags punter and failed. Who squares up on the punter? Maybe leave that part out of the story later. The ref's abacus was broken in the melee, and they had to pull an autistic kid from the crowd just to keep track.
44.
Number 44, number 35, number 9,
And 46.
and 46.
The Titans only scored 3 points all day, and yet this team still disregards my very good suggestion to add a question mark to the end of Cam Ward's name. Mike McCoy is nothing but a scarecrow in a barren field. Maybe it's time to start thinking outside the box and start rotating kids who are good at Madden week to week. It was up-and-coming quarterback Bryce Young, unless he's done growing. Matthew Stafford was picked twice in this. On his first, he didn't have enough on it to decapitate Derek Brown, but his second led to Carolina points and what appeared to be slow dancing with teammates. The Panthers ran Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard into the teeth of the Rams defense, hoping they'd forget to floss and eventually develop heart disease. Coach Canales plays the long game. It started to rain, sowing the seeds of the Rams' destruction. For as we all know, people from Los Angeles cannot drive in the rain. Kobe Turner was shown AI pictures of his mom at P. Diddy freak-offs, but he refused to pick a favorite. Puka Nacua made the catch of the year. It was puckers and suckers as Nacua went starfish on the ball, reeling it in one-handed like an amputee grifter. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Puka Nacua knows. Derek Brown stripped Stafford when it mattered most, and the Rams got the shocker and went home wet. The Vikings brought a knife to a bullfight. Undrafted rookie Max Brosmer got the start at quarterback, which is weird because I could have sworn he just delivered my pizza. And for a few brief seconds, fans were left to hope that they had the next Brock Purdy. They did not. Brosmer threw 4 interceptions, each one telling a story like H.P. Lovecraft. But his first was his most notable, as it was
the dumbest interception of the week.
Idiot.
Come on, man! You know you shouldn't have thrown that. On the plus side, that is his first pro touchdown. I've never seen a drive-by beating before. Where is this man's hand? It does not get better the more I roll through this. The Vikings were completely blanked on a day where I would have given them points just to stay on the bus. Justin Herbert, seen here thinking about sling blades, has been hit more than any other quarterback. Congratulations, you're the best. Say what you will, but the Raiders are consistent. After Chip Kelly was given the boot, which is just an idiom, they are running out of boots. Greg Olsen took over offensive play calling duties, a man who looks like a barber chair smells. Not much changed in their offensive struggles. However, Brock Bowers rights a lot of wrongs. He made a one-handed snag, and I think his wrist did most of it. The man is sticky. Sometimes I throw people's car keys at him and laugh. Each year, the Raiders have a tradition called Turkey Time, where they hurl frozen turkeys at the vehicles of families in need. Ow! Fuck! Thank you! Vegas was powerless to stop the Chargers' offense and to stop Pete Carroll from staring at the sun. The Chargers did the possible and beat the Raiders. It was Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers and an asbestos-filled hallway. Rodgers only completed 10 passes all game. He had difficulty connecting with tons of tight end Darnell Washington. It didn't help that the center went hands-free and farted the ball out instead of snapping it. A hilarious icebreaker in social settings, but hardly the time, Zach. Fans were waving their terrible towels at this terrible offense. And Rodgers grew increasingly frustrated as he inched closer to his one-year plan of living on a boat. Jalen Warren punctured the end zone and celebrated with a salute to epilepsy. Rodgers got into trouble, and the Bills made him pay. It was a scoop and score, aka a free candy van. And Rodgers was left bloodied and annoying. Did he cut himself on Joey Bosa's giant fucking nose? Or was it simply symbolic, as the Steelers couldn't stop the bleeding? They hemorrhaged 249 yards rushing to the Bills. Joshy hungry. Allen got his 76th rushing touchdown, most by a quarterback ever. And he's gonna set that record every game after, until someone musters the courage to give him a drinking habit. Bo Nix threw a touchdown while falling down, a testament to his training regimen. I guess running his 40 at the combine with his pants around his ankles makes a little more sense now. Get me a close-up of Sean Payton, so close I can taste his pores. Traylon Burks broke this night over his knee and tossed it in the woods after he made a crazy one-handed grab in the end zone. This man catches everything. Low fives, furtive glances. He caught COVID-18. I'm knitting him a sweater for Christmas, and it only has one armhole. This game went to overtime, and things immediately went to hell.
We're going to kick that way.
Kick that way?
Kick that way.
Any question?
Yeah, what the hell just happened? It's kick or receive. You can't pick the direction to. He tried to order the steak and the chicken at the wedding. Don't just stand there and smile. Shoot him.
We're going to kick that way.
This is why they send young men to war. It was Angry Bird understudy Mike Kopka versus Human Cigar Box Mike Vrabel. Jackson Dart took a big hit, and things got chippy.
If they continue to run north and south, they can be legally contacted.
Yeah.
I like the term legally contacted, like he was sent a summons. Jackson Dart's competitive fire is gonna cause carbon monoxide poisoning. It's not worth hemming and hawing over an inch if your brain wrinkles are gonna get sandblasted to a glossy finish. Learn to slide, or they will legally contact the shit out of you. Look at this idiot, using defenders as step stools. Every time he needs the coriander, he's gotta pray they send a blitz. Kicker Young Wei Koo set a new low for the Giants and kicked it. He left a divot the size of my colon, making summer homes for prairie dogs. What the shit was that? Were his shoes too heavy? Did he just save us all from worm Adolf Hitler? I almost wish Brian Dable were still there for the reaction. He would have ripped his face off and thrown it on the field.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Punter Jamie Gillen got absolutely wrecked. How he didn't just boot that into the sun is beyond me. The Giants continue to learn the lesson that it's hard to wear hats without a head. But it's like Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
And now the Soft Pretzel of the week. Yummy. One-handed receptions happen all the time. It's impressive, but we see it every week, so it takes a lot to stand out and earn a pretzel. Well, last week, 3 people did. I'm giving the pretzel to Brock Bowers, Puka Nacua, and Traylon Burks. Brock Bowers is special, but his one-handed scoop against the Chargers was pretty ridiculous. Puka Nacua's one-hander was somehow more impressive, as he kinda backhanded it, and then there was a defender's hand to contend with. And those guys are habitual standouts. So Traylon Burks making this list was shocking. Burks returned from the dead for this catch. Imagine a fresh grave and Traylon Burks' hand punches up out of the ground like a zombie and then just catches a football. That's what he did there. Kudos to those one-handed magicians. Nice to know that if you ever lose a limb, you can still play in the NFL. Unless you're left-handed. Thanks for watching Shutout Football. Please say hi to your mom for me, and we'll catch you next time. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
We can put a man on the moon, but we can't go bing bong?